Hi, my name is Kwok, and right now I will be addressing one of the main issues in San Jose, California, which is becoming increasingly more important for minorities to become financially literate because being non-literate harms them and takes away opportunity. But on the other side, being literate increases their quality of life. So, what exactly do I mean by being non-literate harms minority? Well, one of the reasons why the mortgage sector in San Jose is getting worse for minorities is because the data inputted into the algorithm is biased. As mentioned in the study Data and Disparity in Consumer Credit, moving from 1 to 2 account to 10 to 14 account increases the area under the curve from 0.72 to 0.85. However, because the share of minorities consumer with 1 to 2 account is roughly twice the size for non-minority consumers, the model often generalizes minorities as more risky client because of their low under the curve value and denies them loan. From the second piece of evidence, you can see that in general, Hispanic and African Americans have the lowest credit score, and this affects the whole population of minorities because even though not everyone has a bad credit history, credit bureaus that evaluate who to give loans to judge every race based on this data, which makes it biased. On a more in-depth analysis, as stated, minorities' life is negatively impacted by biased average data inputs. From evidence number one, the study shows that the more credit accounts you have, the better your score is. But because most minorities have very few accounts, their score tends to be lower and they get higher interest that harm their financial status. To further drive this point, the graph from evidence 2 showed that the average credit score by race and minorities have the lowest score there, and they tend to have the least exposure to financial literacy. Another way being financially illiterate can harm you is by being financially illiterate. You cannot recognize when banks use biased data in their model for calculating FICO score. Banks can use and input data that are biased and is associated with clean and dirty files. Clean means the person has no default history, and dirty means there's. And from the second piece of evidence, you can see that the study mentions that minorities are more often to default on their loan. This will result in lower area under curve on average, which is a bad thing for that race in comparison to other race. Because of data like this, although not every minority default, they have to work harder to get approved for the account and get a loan because the data group them with every other minority. From the visualization, you can see that what makes up FICO. The two major factors that decide the FICO score is payment history and the amount owed. Because minority get higher interest because of their low score, they have the highest amount owed and the worst payment history. This is why being financially literate is especially important for minorities. They are being discriminated based on race average data, so unless the whole race increases score, they're going to keep getting discriminated against. We know that being financially illiterate harms us, but what does being financially literate do for us? Being financially literate has become a way to access information just like traditional literacy. Being financially literate can help you understand branches of accounting and also branches of personal finance or personal finance subjects such as retirement or just your saving account. But what does understanding accounting and personal finance do from us? From visual number one of all the branches of accounting, being financially literate is important for your job. Every role in a company uses these basic skills, such as managerial, cost, tax, and budgeting are all fundamentals in a company. From visual number two, which is all the branches of personal finance, financial literacy is not just important for your job but also your personal life. Wealth accumulation, taxes, investing, and credit cards are simple things that you need to be financially literate to understand. It is especially important for minorities because they are the race least exposed to this concept. As mentioned before, accounting and personal finance skills are used every day in your daily life or at your job, but can you survive without them? The answer is you cannot survive without financial knowledge because it has become part of the world infrastructure. So, what exactly do I mean by it has become part of the world infrastructure? By that I mean, if you want to access wealth or resources in this society, you have to be financially literate. A study found that being financially literate is positively and significantly associated with total net wealth and each of its component. Controlling for the effect of schooling reduced the magnitude of the effect of financial literacy by almost half. The final benefit of being financially literate is by being literate, you can think more in depth. To summarize, from the study, wealth is directly correlated to financial literacy. This means your retirement account, house, car, quality of life directly benefit from being financially literate. Not being financially literate causes your life to become significantly harder. Additionally, the majority of retirement accounts are set up by people who are aware of them because they are literate. A lot of people do not know the benefit of a Roth IRA account, and this is especially true for minorities. So, what exactly do I mean by financial literacy allows you to think more in depth? Like any type of literacy, it allows you to access more information and think in a deeper level. From visual number one, just by learning accounting, a form of financial literacy, you can understand the cost, managerial, and budgeting in a single company. On a personal level, you will be able to make and control your budget, save for your investment, and save for a house. For visual number two, you can see that literacy branches into a lot different categories, allowing you to understand information from other industries and markets.
And then you've got this entire machine, not just Wall Street, but banking and insurance, just pummeling people all the time with ideas about how their product's the best or their ideas are the best, and people don't know how to organize that information and apply it to their situation um, at all. So it's yeah, that has changed though within the industry because the industry has realized that people are figuring out that some aspects of managing your finances can be a little bit commoditized. It kind of, I think there is differences in how money is managed, and some groups are better at doing that than others. Not everybody can be great, or above average at it, of course, by the very nature of that. I think there is still a little bit of value in investment management, especially when the portfolios get larger and you can do more interesting things. But there is no shortage of places to go if you just want your money handled for you or your investments managed for you. There's thousands upon thousands of representatives, bank brokerage, insurances, combined organizations, and all that. And so for the public, it all looks the same. So the public's looking, I think, now more and more, they're realizing the complexity and they're looking for differences between organizations and they're looking for financial planning more and more. So the big institutions are morphing into at least.
To summarize the points that Dan made, basically what he said is there are a lot of opportunities and people who can help you grow your investment within the finance business and the banking business. However, the mass majority of people do not have enough financial literacy to be able to distinguish between them. Only by being financially literate can you find the best opportunity and distinguish the good one from the bad one. That being said, if you don't know financial literacy at all, you won't be able to find these opportunities in the first place, which is why in the thesis I mentioned that not being financially literate will cost you a lot of opportunities. To conclude, currently in San Jose, California, it is a disadvantaged environment for minorities. However, by becoming more financially literate, they can take advantage of more opportunities and increase their overall uh, credit score to help better their future.